me again, Damien Gatto, here for another reaction video, which is actually going to be 3 videos I'm going to be reacting to by a planet Dolan. Great channel, be sure to check them out. And the 3 videos I'm about to see are 15 most absurd newspaper headlines ever, 10 dumbest brand names ever, 15 weirdest business partnerships you never knew about. So let's have fun, get this party started. Excuse me. Now, without further ado, let's go.
Planet Dolan. Why did a man put his mail in a dog poop disposal for 2 years? How did a man get duped into buying poodles that weren't even dogs? Here are 15 of the most ridiculous news headlines you'll see, and the equally crazy stories behind them. I'm Danger Dolan, and today I will be your narrator.
Number 15.
Flying dildo hits Bucks party guest, draws blood. This is one of those rare occasions where the headline sounds like overly weird, but the actual story turns out even more strange. So what the headline tells you is that some guy got hit by a flying dildo. What it doesn't tell you is how. And the how is that it was shot at him by the exotic dancer at the party, and not with a gun.
Number 14.
What the hell? I did not know that backstory. I heard the headline, but I did not know that. How? What was the stripper gyrating her hips and had the dildo hooked to her chest, hooked to her waist like a strap-on, and just snapped off the bands and boom! What the hell? What's your bets? It went right in his mouth. And now I have that vivid image.
Think of a headline, 56-point bold headline. Here's a secret in newspaper headline writing. They're usually the last thing to go on the story, within minutes of the paper being printed. And every so often the editors just forget, and the paper gets shipped off with a placeholder to remind them to write a headline. Clearly the reminder just didn't work this time.
Number 13.
Arrested for gay horse jibe. In 2005, a drunken 21-year-old student was staggering down the street when he came upon 2 police officers on horses. He apparently decided that this was a good time to talk to one of the officers about the sexual orientation of his horse. After a few warnings to stop, the student didn't stop. Eventually, the officer handcuffed him.
Talking about this, you went up to a cop riding a horse and you asked him about the sexual orientation of his horse. What were your plans? Oh, is your horse straight, or is it going on the gay or the bi spectrum? I mean, if it's going on the straight, I wouldn't mind giving you little rounds to Pound Town. I mean, what the hell? What was his plan? Figure out its orientation, then pull its butt wide open and go in? You know something? Now that I'm talking about it, I probably might want to stop. Never mind.
Him and put him in a drunk tank to dry out for a night.
Number 12.
Man posts letters in dog poo box for 2 years. No tricks on this one, it's exactly what it sounds like. A 91-year-old man with poor eyesight was stopped one day before putting a letter into a disposal box for dog poop. He'd apparently been putting his mail in there for 2 years because it's approximately the same size and color as the mailbox, but the mailbox was across the street.
Number 11.
Patrick Stewart surprised his fan with a life-threatening illness. This is actually a heartwarming story, but the headline just shows how important it is to read them back to yourself. So contrary to the way you could read this headline, this isn't about Sir Patrick Stewart bringing the plague to a young fan. It's about him surprising a fan who just happens to have an illness. Surprise AIDS.
Number 10.
Woman lets God drive car, God immediately runs down guy on motorcycle. Jesus Takes the Wheel is a popular song. Unfortunately,
so that was your excuse for hitting a guy. Oh yes. It was not me that hit the guy. It was not me that hit him. The Lord got into my body, and he decided the man just had to go. Ah, Jesus, please take the wheel. Sorry, I just had to do that.
Very bad driving advice. That lesson came to a 25-year-old woman in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the expense of the guy riding the motorcycle in front of her. The woman said she heard God say he could take it from here, so she let go of the wheel and rammed the man on the motorcycle in front of her, knocking him off his bike. Then she continued driving, running over the man's midsection, breaking several ribs and causing extensive internal bleeding, as was God's plan.
Number 9.
Man gets shock of his life when he buys 2 toy poodles for $150, only to be told by a vet that they are actually giant rodents pumped up with steroids to look like dogs. The man in Argentina who thought he was getting a real great deal on a pair of purebred poodles is not getting a good deal on poodles. He was actually getting a good deal on giant, fluffy, steroid-raised ferrets. Easy mistake.
Number 8.
Paralyzed by a pork chop. Father of 2, 46, almost dies after eating undercooked meat. The words paralyzed by a pork chop might make you think someone was, maybe, hit in the neck with a frozen pork chop? Something like that. No, the story is about food poisoning, and as assuming as the headline might be, the story is just the opposite. Darren Ashall fell ill with listeria meningitis from a pork chop that he undercooked. The bug went straight to his brain, where it nearly killed him. He was lucky to survive the hospitalization, despite losing literally everything in his life.
Number 7.
Big rig carrying fruit crashes on 210 freeway, creates jam. File this one under I see what you did there. Get it? Fruit truck crashed, blocked traffic, so it's a jam. Somebody at the LA Times is very proud of themselves for that one.
Number 6.
Boy, 14, attacked by a goat named Voldemort. Jackson Gessel was just a 14-year-old delivering papers when he got attacked by a goat named Voldemort. How evil does a goat have to be to be named Voldemort?
Why would you name a goat Voldemort? The boy who lived. What the hell? I'm sorry, a goat named Voldemort.
Well, he headbutted Gessel's bike to knock him off, sir, and started trampling him. So, hey, at least Gessel now gets to tell people he's the boy that lived. Oh, hey, what happened to you? Hey, I got fucked up by Voldemort.
Number 5.
Man with cat denied entry by strip club arrested. Okay, there's a lot of detail missing here. A man tried to enter the strip club with a kitten, presumably because he was really very drunk. When he was denied entry, he called 911 on the strip club bouncers. A couple of very confused deputies arrived on the scene to sort things out. That didn't stop the man from continuing to call 911 repeatedly. The man was eventually arrested for misusing it and a number of other charges, and it wasn't even his cat.
Number 4.
Psychic hit by a car inside restaurant says he didn't see it coming. So there were 2...
Oh, the irony ensues.
Psychics eating lunch in a restaurant together. A car comes through the wall and slams into them both. Neither of them are able to predict it. We'll let you draw your own conclusions about the quality of that psychic work.
Number 3.
Russian sex geckos die in orbit. Fair warning, this story gets way less interesting after the words
Russian sex geckos. Russian sex geckos. I'm sorry. Just that statement.
Russian sex geckos. The geckos were literally part of an experiment measuring the effects of weightlessness on sexual habits and development. It appears the geckos may have died after the satellite's heating system broke down, but the fruit flies that were also on the ship not only survived but multiplied.
Number 2.
One-armed man applauds the kindness of strangers. Ooh, you might think the headline is overly cruel here, but the author is actually just writing it about himself. He's not actually missing an arm, he's just broken his hand and can't use it. So he's really just poking fun at himself, which is corny and kind of dumb, but at least he's not teasing actual amputees. If you do want some amputee jokes, you should go watch Arrested Development, it's full of them.
Number 1.
Romanian princess ran a cockfighting ring in Oregon. Okay, so this isn't cute or clever at all. The Atlantic isn't doing any clever wordplay here. The princess of Romania actually just really likes strapping knives and weapons to the legs of roosters and watching them kill each other. She and her husband hosted at least 10 events on her farm in Oregon, getting themselves charged with operating an illegal gambling operation and facilitating cockfighting, both of which are illegal in all 50 US states. What? Danger Dolan, did you know that we have a countdown book featuring some of our best scripts on sale now? Links down below for the physical and ebook versions. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one!
Now on to the next one.
Planet Dolan. The name of a business or product is one of the first things people learn about it. It colors your whole first impression of what the thing's about. With that being said, here are 10 instances where people might want to consider making a different first impression. I'm Danger Dolan, and today I will be your narrator.
Number 10.
Going postal. This is sort of a tough one to unpack, especially for those who weren't alive in the 80s or 90s. But once upon a time in America, there are a series of incidents involving postal employees just kinda losing it and committing violent murders. There were 4 incidents of postal workers coming in and shooting people at their workplace between 1991 and 93 alone. This led to the slang term going postal, which referred to someone becoming homicidally angry in a workplace environment. Somebody apparently saw that and said, great, people will love interacting with employees at a place named for employees that snap and kill people.
Number 9.
Toyota Previa. This is the early version of the car that would later become the Sienna. Now on paper, it doesn't seem like a terrible name. Previa is a word that in Spanish and Italian means something along the lines of preview. But in English, the word has exactly one use, and that's placenta previa. Complication in childbirth where the placenta blocks a baby from entering the birth
Yes, nothing like driving the Toyota placenta.
canal. There is approximately a 102% chance, give or take 2%, that this is not what the marketing people had in mind for their car.
Number 8.
The petty file. Yeah, okay, makes sense. It's a file.
The petty file. I could make so many jokes about that. But the jokes I'm thinking of could probably get me kicked off YouTube.
You use on your feet. Petty means feet. We get it. It's kind of clever, but it's a good rule of marketing to refrain from naming yourself after sex crimes against children. This isn't something that should need to be said. People should know this. It's not hard.
Number 7.
Jitters Coffee. Turns out Jitters is actually a really popular name for a coffee shop. If you Google it right now, there's a decent chance you'll find one in your state. There are several different shops sharing the name, and it's true that it's kind of cute in a way, but getting the jitters is the name we give the negative side effect of having too much caffeine. Why would you call it that? Wouldn't people want to not get the jitters? This would be like opening a liquor store and calling it hangover.
With the amount of coffee I've drunk in the past and with the withdrawal I've experienced, I will say I've had the jitters before. And I've drunken a lot of coffee throughout my doings on YouTube.
Number 6.
Kids Exchange. Haha, there's a lot wrong with this, really. Obviously the name of the store is supposed to be Kids Exchange. But
It's supposed to be Kids Exchange, but why am I seeing Kids Sex Change? Nothing like getting the sex change done early.
because of poor spacing on the sign, we have something that looks more like Kids Sex Change. Let's back up here. Is Kids Exchange even that much better? Seems like a store that exists in a world where human trafficking is illegal.
Number 5.
Herpes Pizza. This place is a mystery. You might be tempted to chalk the name up to some sort of translation error in a non-English speaking country. The place is a Facebook page listing its location at Altoona, Wisconsin. On the other hand, that page is unofficial. Some have said the place doesn't exist and it's a doctored image, which seems likely. But just in case, if you do happen to come across Herpes Pizza...
Yeah, Herpes Pizza. You get a little bit of herpes with every bite.
well, you know what to do and what not to do.
Number 4.
Tom Raper RVs. Tom Raper was a Midwestern businessman who is well known for his chain of RV dealerships. There's no reason for him to be ashamed of his name. It's the name he was born with. His family's name. Nothing wrong with that. But that being said, do you have to name your RV dealership after yourself? Does the guy have absolutely no self-awareness about how it looks to drive down the highway and see a sign for Raper RVS?
Number 3.
Fiddler on the Tooth. Okay, to be fair, this is actually really clever. This is obviously a dentistry office in Seattle, Washington. From the looks of it, it's a very successful one. The name works because the dentist's last name is Fiddler, so she named the place after herself and worked in a reference to a beloved Broadway musical. So that's all fine, except for the implication. People tend to get a little nervous about dental appointments, and the implication that the dentist will be fiddling on your tooth is kind of scary. Easily the best name on this list in terms of creativity, just the wrong place. Wrong time.
Number 2.
Stubbs Prosthetics. Well, that's just rude. This is obviously another instance where the owner of the business just gave the business their own name, and that's understandable. But if your business is selling prosthetics for people with missing limbs and your last name is Stubbs, just think about it for a second before you go ahead with that plan. There are other names you could give this business.
Number 1.
Foreskin phone cases. The rationale here is that this is a case for
Foreskin phone cases. Well, I always wondered where the skin from uncircumcised penises went.
an iPhone 4, but instead of calling it a case, they call it a skin. So it's a skin for a 4. It's foreskin. Makes perfect sense. It's also a thing on your penis. Here's some free business advice, guys. Making a phone case or just about any other kind of product, avoid making your customer think about circumcision. Just don't do it. What? Danger Dolan, did you know that we have a countdown book featuring some of our best scripts on sale now? Links down below for the physical and ebook versions. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one!
Now on to the next one.
What partnership resulted in 50 cents being donated to breast cancer research for buying buckets of fried chicken? What partnership with a car company brought us a $20,000 set of luggage? From huge conglomerates to ill-fated partnerships, here are 15 business partnerships you probably didn't know about.
Hi there, my name is Doopy and I'm here to tell you some really interesting things that you might not have heard before. Number 15.
Here's how difficult it can be to follow conglomerate companies' ownership. Yum Brands was founded as a PepsiCo spin-off company focusing on fast food in 1997. They currently own Taco Bell, Wing Street, Pizza Hut, KFC, and several others, so if you're wondering why those places don't carry Coke products, now you know. But they also used to own Long John Silver's and A&W. But that's A&W the restaurant, not A&W the beverage company with the exact same logo. The beverage company is owned by Kraft. Got all that?
Number 14.
When Medal of Honor Warfighter came out in 2012, Electronic Arts decided they had the best possible plan of cross-marketing. On their website, they started linking to real-life weapons manufacturers to buy the actual weapons that appear in the game. The products included in this
But why, though? This just seems like a school shooting waiting to happen.
promotion ranged from assault rifles to tactical gear to an actual tomahawk axe. EA pulled the promotion after the obvious public backlash that followed.
Number 13.
So here's the situation. You've been using Pantene shampoo for a while, but you've decided it's time for a change. So you look at the shelf and see all these options. What do you choose? Head and Shoulders, Aussie, herbal essences? Don't think too hard, because every single one of those brands are owned by Procter & Gamble. In fact, all of 182 different beauty product companies are owned by 7 huge corporations: Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal, Shiseido, Unilever, Coty, and Estee Lauder.
Number 12.
The rabbit hole goes even deeper on this one. L'Oreal, one of those massive companies that controls the beauty product market, they, in turn, are an offshoot company owned by Nestle, which also owns the Wonka Candy Company and a huge number of other food brands. Nestle also owns the Gerber Baby Food Company, the Purina Pet Food Company, and the Ralph Lauren Fashion Company. Of course, recent reports show that L'Oreal is actually looking to buy its stock back from Nestle.
Number 11.
Amazon owns a bunch of different companies, and most of them you probably know about, like Twitch, Audible, and more recently, Whole Foods. But you may not have known about IMDb, or the Internet Movie Database, which serves as a sort of Wikipedia for movie information. Amazon has owned the website since all the way back in 1998, and aside from Amazon adding purchase links on movie pages, they've mostly left it alone.
Number 10.
Susan G. Komen is an absolutely massive nonprofit, and so it isn't really that unusual to see their pink breast cancer awareness branding in a number of locations. Pink buckets of fried chicken from KFC? That one was a little weird. KFC pledged to donate 50 cents for every pink bucket of fried chicken they sold, but it was a tough sell because KFC and health are concepts that don't really go together especially well. And the buckets for the cure tagline was questionable.
Number 9.
Cadbury is probably best known for its cream eggs, but they are also the parent company for Sour Patch Candy, Trident Gum, and Hall's Cough Drops. And they also have spun off the Dr. Pepper Snapple Company, which also makes Crush, Canada Dry, A&W, Welch's, and Sunkist, among others. And all of that is under the Kraft Foods umbrella, which also includes everything from Ritz crackers to Jell-O to Oreo cookies to Velveeta cheese to hundreds of others.
Number 8.
Sure, Play-Doh is non-toxic, so you can eat it and it won't kill you, but you're not supposed to eat it. But when McDonald's started giving out Play-Doh as a Happy Meal toy, it's like,
Yeah, you McDonald's, you knew what you were doing. You all knew kids were gonna stick this in their mouths. Any kid at a very young age is gonna stick Play-Doh in their mouth. I mean, when I was a kid, my parents had to get on to me for sticking Play-Doh in my mouth. I mean, you know what you were doing.
it's like they were daring kids to do it. And then they started putting out toy sets. Hey kids, use this Play-Doh to make a bunch of burgers and fries, but definitely do not eat it, even though it looks like food.
Number 7.
When you think of Volkswagen, you probably think of the Beetle, right? That's their claim to fame, but that's not all they do. Not only does Volkswagen have a number of car models, they also own a number of high-end car companies like Audi, Porsche, Bugatti, Lamborghini, and Bentley.
Number 6.
In 1968, William Darden opened his first Red Lobster restaurant, and just as the chain began to explode in popularity, he sold it and his company to General Mills. Yes, General Mills, like the cereal company. Darden Restaurants was spun off from General Mills in 1995, and it now includes Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, Yard House, and several others. But as of 2014, Darden no longer owns Red Lobster, its original company.
Number 5.
Luxottica, as you may know, has a stranglehold on the worldwide eyeglass industry. If you have a pair of glasses, chances are they were made by Luxottica. Turns out that's true even if your glasses are Google Glass. Google has partnered with Luxottica and is working on the next generation of Google Glass. So that probably means Google Glass Ray-Bans are on the way.
Number 4.
We know that companies like Google, Tesla, and Uber are heavily invested into the idea of the self-driving car. But Domino's Pizza has also gone in and started testing a self-driving Ford Fusion hybrid as the potential future of pizza delivery. While things are still only at the market research stage, Domino's is serious enough about the idea to already have their own delivery vehicle prototype with a built-in warming oven and a touchscreen for payment.
Number 3.
When BMW released the i8 sports car, it drew a certain type of luxury customer. Louis Vuitton figured that customer was also their customer, so they produced a custom set of luggage designed specifically to fit in the i8's tiny storage spaces. That might sound like a great idea, but the luggage set included 2 bags, a briefcase, and a garment bag, and it costed $20,000. That's right, the tie-in luggage set for a car costed more than most actual cars.
Number 2.
When Uber and Spotify teamed up in 2014, the goal was to allow passengers to choose their own music for the ride and have it playing as soon as they hopped in. And that seemed to be a good idea, but then Uber became scandal central. Reports of rampant sexism, skirting regulations, and a viral video of Uber's CEO personally insulting a driver came out seemingly within a few weeks. Now, Spotify is reconsidering whether they really want to be associated with Uber, even though the idea is pretty good.
Number 1.
You already know that Disney owns Marvel and Lucasfilms because those are the biggest and most recent acquisitions they've made. But you might have forgotten that Disney also owns ABC, ESPN, Touchstone Pictures, A&E, parts of the History Channel, and 30% of Hulu. And they used to own Deke Entertainment, Miramax Films, the E! Entertainment Channel, and Oxygen. That's Oxygen, the media company, not the actual air you breathe. But at the rate they're going, who knows? Maybe that's next.
What? Danger Dolan, did you know that we have a countdown book featuring some of our best scripts on sale now? Links down below for the physical and ebook versions.
Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. That was completely enjoyable for me. I enjoyed all 3 of those. But I'm just saying, this was fun for me to watch. I mean, I hope you all enjoyed it. This was by a Planet Dolan, great channel. Be sure to check him out. Also, be sure to check out my channel, Damien Gatto, my other channel, Damien Gatto Gaming, and my new BitChute channel, Damien Gatto Reborn. Doing a lot with those. Links will be in the description. Also, be sure in the comments or any videos I'd like to recommend in the description down below. Thank you. Have a nice Wednesday, and I hope you all take care. But I have to say, that was just plain awesome.